After all those videos that I have already posted on my channel about taxes in Germany, it's time to finally talk about my personal experience, how I do file my tax report, what I use for that, what is my situation actually, why I decided to file the tax report every single year, and of course how much money I get out of that and what software I use therefore. If that's something that sounds interesting to you and you want to collect the experience of other people before you file your tax report, this year it's July 31st. Let's straight go to the first section. It's my financial situation. I can share with you that I'm a full-time employee. I work at the Audible, that is a part of Amazon company, and I have my full-time job. So basically I have my income from one month to another. Additional to that, I also have my supplementary income, that is the YouTube blogging. I have registered my YouTube as the official side hustle here in Germany, and at the end of the year I always provide how much money I received from the YouTube partnership program as the blogger and how much money I spent on the different expenses related to my blog. On top of that, I also last year sold some stocks from my investment portfolio. It means that this year I had to provide the information to pay the capital gain taxes in Germany as well. If you want to know more all about the topic of capital gain taxation, feel free to watch the separate video where I dig more into the details explaining what it is actually about and how much money you have to reserve for paying the taxes on your capital gain. And with that said, you can actually see that I have more specific case. It's not just the full-time employment, but it's like three income streams that I have to register and file a tax report at the end of the year. To be honest, when I just started exploring this topic, it was back in 2020. I was just a full-time employer, and back that time I was working from my home office, and that's how I started investigating the topic, how I can get the tax refund back, because I was heavily investing money on upgrading my home office, and at the end of the year I filed the tax report and got something back from the tax authority here in Germany. And since then I've been doing this constantly every single year and receiving sometimes more, sometimes less money on my bank account as the tax refund. And I have to say I didn't have any prior experience, so that's why it was the cold water for me, but I figured that out. But after a few years, when my blog started evolving, I registered myself as the YouTube blogger because I started receiving some money out of the YouTube partnership program, and I registered myself as the small business owner because indeed it becomes like a digital business for me having my first YouTube channel. So that's why the tax fix no longer served me in that condition. I started exploring what other software I can use in order to provide the information that I have based on my personal use case, and that's how I got to know Tax. It's another software app that you can use to file your tax reports. By the way, I shared already with you the comparison between those two apps that I have personally experienced in the separate video, so if you are curious, feel free to watch that and see the differences and understand actually which app suits you better. Even though I changed my software app, I didn't change the whole process about filing my tax report. Now I know that I have to reserve up to 2 hours to sit down, dig into the topic of the taxes for my previous year and provide all the information in the correct way. It means as the preparation step, I always make sure that I do have my pay slip. In case I change the job, I definitely need to wait for the both pay slips to arrive. Also, I make sure I have all the invoices that I put into paying for my home office if I work from home office. Also, since I also pay the taxes as the blogger, I also make sure I have all the information about the income I got from the YouTube and also all the expenses I had within the calendar year for my YouTube as well, like some traveling expenses or purchasing some products or having some equipment to upgrade my YouTube recording. And since last year I also had some capital gains, I sold some stocks, so that's why I had to dig into all the files that I have and find out what was my initial price per stock I paid at the beginning and what was the difference to the price I sell per stock at the end of the deal. So by having all this information collected and having in the quick access for myself, I unlock myself to sit down and easily go through all the questionnaire and put in all the data to provide clearly the picture of my total income in order to have the calculation of the tax refund for the previous year. And since I'm very honest with you here today, sharing my personal experience about the taxes in Germany, I also can say a few words about a mistake I've done. Basically, last year I sold some stocks in order to understand how this whole process works. I really wanted to get my first-hand experience in how I can withdraw the money, how I can pay the taxes on top of the capital gains, and actually put the knowledge from my research into the practice. But the mistake that I've done, I done the research afterwards. So when I have sold already my stocks, that was too late to apply for the allowance that I could request from my tax authority. So that's why it means that this year when I was filing my tax report, I basically didn't have allowance to cover up a certain amount of money tax-free and pay the taxes only on top of that allowance. So basically I would cut significantly the amount of taxes, but indeed I've done the mistake, but now the lesson learned and shared in the separate video. So make sure you watch it and get prepared before you sell any stocks and register or file the tax report on the capital gain taxes. But all in all the experience I have right now about filing my tax report every single year becomes easier and easier to me. I even confident that if I do any mistake, tax officers would return back some questions back to me and we would clarify if there is any misunderstanding between me and my tax authority, because the previous years I had some questions and that's why some of the pre-calculated sum was not always the final amount of money I got back as the tax refund. And basically it's the good segue to share with you what was my pre-calculated tax refund for this year. So I got slightly over 2,000 euro as the pre-calculation to get back from my taxes I paid the previous year. It's based on the heavily investing in my YouTube, because I purchased the laptop, I purchased the phone, I purchased some other materials, I got also the travel for creating the content. So that was the part for me to also see how filing the expenses for your own business works. So we'll see how much real money will come out of this pre-calculated sum. Don't be afraid, it's not that difficult, and I really think that we are growing by learning and applying the knowledge on practice. I wish you the great and smooth process of filing your tax report, and I hope that you getting more and more confident about the taxes and how they work in Germany. Let's see each other in my next episodes that are already available on my channel, specifically about the taxes in Germany, and take care. See you very soon. Bye bye.